There's a fly. It's December. There's a fly in the building. So going to Nashville the first time after sabbatical, it was super exciting. I had like a 6-week lead up to going. So I had a lot of time to plan appointments, and I reached out to some current clients and asked, like, who do they know in Nashville? And people have been so generous with making introductions. And there's a fly. It's December. There's a fly in the building. So Debbie and I felt on sabbatical that clearly expansion was something we're to do together. And so since she's retired from her job as a preschool teacher, we're able to do this together. Like, this is not something like, I'm off on the road. So Debbie and I packed up in our RV. Mac the RV is 12 years old, but we had this great campsite that looked right over Percy Priest Reservoir, which is a beautiful reservoir. So like every morning you can get up and you can look outside and the sun's coming up over the lake. And then I just had meeting after meeting with people. I actually was a little overbooked on this first trip. I had like 3 or 4 meetings a day.
All right, so here we go. It's the first appointment in Nashville for our expansion project, and super excited. And here's where we're staying. We're staying at this awesome campground in Mac the RV, and it's overlooking this beautiful lake. And so what an incredible place for us to get to kick off this expansion into Nashville. And a little nervous, but also super excited because God, we believe God has clearly called us to this. So here we go. First stop, Murfreesboro.
I always have trouble saying Murfreesboro. I never know how much R do you put in it. I'm never quite sure. In some ways, there's a lot of similarities between Nashville and Indy in terms of, like, people are friendly. They genuinely are concerned about each other. People say hi to each other at the grocery store if they don't know each other. Like, so there's that kind of, I would say up here we'd say it's Hoosier hospitality. Down there they'd probably say it's Southern hospitality, but there's a hospitality feel. But Nashville is growing like crazy. It's created some issues. And one of the big issues is the traffic. It's just bumper to bumper. And what I have to keep reminding myself is this is why Fishhook is there. It's because God is bringing so many people to Nashville, and there's such a huge opportunity for churches to make the most of this moment for the kingdom.
Heading to my early morning appointment down in Franklin, going to the Cracker Barrel. I love me the Cracker Barrel. I meet with Pastor John from a Vineyard Church down here in Franklin. This is my second meeting with him. Had a meeting back in the early spring, late winter, something like that. Something really happens when you sit down over a meal that just doesn't happen otherwise. I'm sure we'll talk about exciting stuff, but right now all I can think about is the sourdough breakfast.
So over the summer, we had the chance to start working with Fellowship Bible Church in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which, can I just acknowledge that that's hard to say? Sometimes you don't say it like you spell it. And so anyway, so we were absolutely thrilled to go down to Tennessee and do a communications assessment with Fellowship. And actually, this was one of the fun trips where my daughter got to join me. So we did a little sightseeing in the area. We got to go to the Parthenon in Nashville, so that was fun. So as you can see in the background, Dory and I made it to beautiful Tennessee. And this morning, just getting ready to kick off the comm assessment unpack with Fellowship Bible Church. And they're not here yet, but hopefully we'll be here soon. It's a gorgeous morning, and just looking forward to a good day of helping them. Oh, there's a little bee that just landed on my phone. How about that? Had a little bit of prayer time this morning, and I'm looking forward to TeamSpeak. They have an incredible team of people, and I always tell them they're on the smaller side but their leaders really think very strategically, and they think like a much larger church. Fellowship Bible Church is exciting for a lot of reasons. We love their church, we love their team, we also love where they're trying to go, and it's super exciting because they are our first client in the Nashville area. So, woo! So with any church, we're going to give them a number of recommendations, and they are going to look at those and figure out how they're going to get those accomplished based on a number of factors: time, money, people resources that are available. Sometimes there's something that we can jump in and help them with to help them make progress more quickly. So for example, with Fellowship, we get to do a website with them, and so we're absolutely thrilled, of course, because we love them and we want to work with them, but we're also helping them tackle one of the recommendations that was in their assessment. So I'm absolutely thrilled that our team gets to jump in and help them get that done more quickly.
So on the very first trip to Nashville, I met an organization called Search Nashville. And I met them through our friend Monty, who's the pastor down in Murfreesboro at Fellowship Bible Church. I'll spare all the details, but Search Nashville has an incredible strategy for reaching people in the business community and beyond who don't yet know Jesus. And so Monty's telling me about this, and he made an introduction to their executive director, and I reached out, and he said yes, we could get together for coffee, because people in Nashville say yes when you invite them out for coffee. But then I realized they had this like a public event, a marketplace ministry event. When I reached out to set up the coffee, I was like, hey, can I come to your event? And the executive director was like, absolutely, you can come. Well, what I didn't realize, it was like the fanciest country club I've ever been to in my life. Oh my gosh.
This place looks super fancy. I think it's going to be a good place to meet some people, which is what this whole Nashville experience is about right now. It's super fancy, and look, I'm wearing a blazer. I'm wearing a blazer because when I looked at the website for the event, a bunch of the dudes were in blazers. So I guess I'm just like a person who is going to visit a church. You know, I went to the website and looked at it, and okay, do I look like I fit in here?
But here I am, like my very first week, driving through these big gates of the country club and down in this valley and then up, and the place was spectacular. And the event was awesome. And so I just couldn't believe it. Like, here I am, my very first week in Nashville, and I've already gotten invited to a super exclusive country club. So,
Feliz Navidad.
It's Feliz Navidad.
I'm sorry, I was going to try to make a joke and then I was going to do it badly, and so I'm just going to give up with that. I'm
looking because I'm looking at the copy paper. For the whole time of Fishhook, I don't think I've ever bought a ream of paper for home that I didn't take from the office. So sometime after the first of the year, I'm going to give everybody a ream of paper and confess that I've been doing this. I think everybody deserves a ream of paper from Fishhook.
That Fishhook life.